All right, so remember that on a previous class, we were basically finishing with the explanation, but we have one more grammar topic that we have to review, and this will be the superlative. All right. So we were actually in the conversation practice, which we didn't finish. We were just in this question. And now let's go to this one, please. When was the first time you went to the cinema, and talk about this experience?
The first time was when I saw Finding Nemo. Um, I went with my mother and my brother. It was very nice because the movie is very good.
Right, okay. And how old were you?
I don't remember how old are. I think 10 years, maybe.
Okay, all right. And well, let's see. Think about the last time you had a lot of fun with your friends, and what did you do? Talk about it.
Uh, mm, it was a meeting for Christmas, I think, with my friends. We took a dinner in my friend's house. We exchanged gift. Um, just stayed. Just we pass time, listen to music, and eat barbecue.
All right. And think about the first pet you ever had. What was it? And talk about it. Your first pet.
My first pet was a dog. Um, the dog was very little when he came to my house. Um, I think he was with me for 10 years. Um, mm, I think that I remember he was in all my childhood.
Okay. Do you still have that pet?
No,
All right, okay. And well, Ask a friend some question about their last shopping trip. Well, actually, to you. When was your last shopping trip? You have to mention when was it? How did you get there? Where did you go? What did you buy? Who did you go with? And how much did you spend?
Okay, the last Saturday, I went to shopping with my mother because she saw a place on Facebook and she wanted to go. The place were in the Banster Avenue. Um, we was looking for dress for my mother. Um, and we find it to dress for her.
Okay. Something else? Did your mom buy?
No, just to dress. Yes, just that. We just went to one tienda,
One store?
one store. Yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. And did you watch the 2008 Beijing Olympics? What do you remember?
I remember. I'm not sure, but I saw in the TV the inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
In Beijing, I remember when they burned cuando encendieron, no sé qué se llama,
When they light
la
the torch,
mecha, no sé.
la antorcha.
Yes, la antorcha.
Okay, yes, when they light the torch.
Okay, I remember so when they live the tour.
Okay, right. Any sport that you are interested in about the Olympics?
Um, no, I just saw in some cases maybe the bicycle ride, the skaters, the swimming. I saw those sports.
All right. Well, nowadays many families have a car. How did your grandparents get around?
How my grandfather, mm, I don't understand the question.
Oh, it's basically asking if your grandparents, how did they move themselves around the city, for example? They had a car or they used bicycles or any other types of means of transportation.
Okay, my grandfathers were from my mother. They live in a little town in Santa Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they don't have car, but I think it was a little place to live. Um, and they just walked because all was near from their house, the school, the mark, uh, everything was near because the house it was in the center of the town. From my father, they didn't have car too. Um, they transported on bus and train.
All right. And here, the next question. Older people sometimes talk about the good old days. What do they mean?
Um, because before the time was different come than now because before there aren't the technology that I have and the people told with other visit their families and spend more time together. They go to the casas de campo. I know.
Coun- Country houses?
Yes, they go and they live in the in outside of the city, and they had a coat, other animals that they eat. Um, Maybe the word was more hard, was harder than now because it was more physical, and now it's very different.
Okay, all right. Hmm. And well, let's go to the next one. Christopher Columbus is one of the most famous explorers ever. What do you know about him?
Mm, he discovered America, Christopher Columbus.
Okay.
Um, he's from Spain.
Hmm.
Mm, I don't know.
Okay, all right. Let's go to the next one and last one. You you have to know the past to understand the future. Or Sagan. Do you agree? Explain.
I think apply in some case it depend because it's not necessary to know the past of a person to I don't know, to work or to have a friendship. Um, it's not necessary. We just have to think in how the person is now, and it is a good person. Uh, Maybe for other cases it's necessary. For example, if the person needs psychology help, the psychology need to know the past of the person to understand the why the person is why the person develop in the life. Um, but for the normal person, I think is necessary to know the past.
Okay, all right. Well, these were all of the questions about the past tense. Let's please move on to grammar. And well, the last part of grammar is going to be related to superlative adjectives. We have seen comparatives and now we are going to see superlatives. First of all, there is a changing on the adjectives. There are modifications that you have to make. And well, the modifications are the following. To all the adjectives, one syllable adjectives, you have to add the following. One syllable adjectives like cold, nice. You have to add the definite article they. Plus, you have to add est to the adjective at the end. So, from cold, the coldest. And could you please read the example?
January is often the coldest winter month.
Yes. And basically, you're going to use superlative adjectives when you are talking about one thing among the rest. No? The next one, nice, the nicest. And the example, please.
She is nicest person I know.
Yes. And two or more syllable adjectives. The only thing you do, just add the definite article de and the word most. So from boring, it's going to be the most boring. And here we have the example. Please.
It is the most boring movie at the cinema.
Yes. And the next one, expensive, the most expensive. In the example,
We ate at the most expensive restaurant in town.
yes. And the next one, here. Adjectives with two syllables that end in Y, okay, Y. We have to change the Y for I and add de. We have to change the Y for I, add est, and of course the definite article de. So from early, the earliest. From happy, the happiest. And the examples, please.
He was the earliest person to arrive. It was the happiest time of my life.
Yes, correct. Here, adjectives that end in a vowel and a consonant. So consonant, vowel, consonant. You have to double the last consonant and add est. So from big, the biggest, and from hot, the hottest.
Russia is the biggest country in the world.
Mhm.
August is usually the hottest summer month.
Yes, and when we are talking about adjectives, we know that there are some irregular adjectives, which are going to be changing the writing. So, from good, the best. Could you read the example, please?
She is the best student in our house.
Yes, and from bad, the worst.
It was the worst storm in many years.
And from far, it can be the farthest or the furthest. Both are the same.
He lived the furthest from my house.
Yes. And well, these are the rules that you have to follow whenever you are changing adjectives from the base form of the adjective to a superlative form. All right. Remember that all of them are going to be ending in est, and all of them are going to be using the preposition or the definite article the. Very important.
Okay. Teacher, just one question.
Yes.
I'm not sure the meaning of furnace.
Farthest.
Yes.
Far
Or
es
farthest.
farthest, el más lejano, ¿no?
Okay.
Ujú.
Furnace.
The same, el mismo significado, el más lejano.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. All right. So let's please work on the practices about superlative adjective.
Okay, teacher.
That's the first practice, please. Work on it. And well, let me know when you finish, okay?
Okay.
How are you doing, Flor, with the practices? You have time, so don't worry about the time, okay?
Okay, I still doing.
All right, that's perfect. I will be sending you another practice too, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Teacher, I finished. Teacher, I finished.
All right, and how did you do on the practices?
Very well. The first link and the third is the same, right?
Oh yeah, I just realized I sent you the wrong link, but here I am sending the correct one, okay? There you go. This is the
Okay.
third practice. If you have any doubts or questions, let me know. Thank you.
Teacher, I finished.
Great. And how did you do on the practices, Flor?
Very good.
All right. Is there any doubt or question that you may have about the superlative adjectives?
No, it's okay.
All right. Okay. Very good. Let's please move on to the next activity, which is a game. And well, I would like you please to choose two numbers.
3, 5, and 1.
Okay. 3 and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 5 here. You have to make superlative sentences with pens, pencils, and markers. 3 sentences, please.
Mm, the blue pens is the biggest.
Okay.
Um,
Are the biggest, right? Because pens is plural.
okay, yes. Uh, then the yellow pencils is are the smallest. The black markers are the oldest.
Okay, all right. Let's go in verse 5 and 3. This one. Trees, flowers, and grass.
Mm, the trees from my house mm, are the biggest of the town of the street.
Okay.
The flowers of her garden are the most beautiful of the house. What means grass?
Césped, el pasto.
Oh, okay. Yes. Um, the grass of my house mm, is the grass of my house are shortest.
Okay, the grass of my house is the shortest. Okay. And well, let's choose any random. Let's see. Mm, Here. Spiders, bees, and ants. These three will be the last examples.
The spiders are the worst animals in the world. Bees, um, the bees are the funniest animal for the child. Um, ants. The ants are the smallest animal of the world.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Now let's please work on the survey, and this will be all for today, okay? And remember, you will take your exam on Monday, your model exam.
Okay.
Right. Right, Flor. Well, thank you very much and have a great weekend.
Thank you, teachers.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Goodbye. See you Monday.